Greetings and welcome to a Monday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is August 25th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing great. You know, I'm excited. What a Sunday. We get to talk about Super Bowl champion Tommy Fleetwood. What an exciting day. I'm excited because I don't have to listen to you say the guy can't get it done anymore.
Me?
Just popping
What was I like
right?
some sort of Fleetwood doubter or hater?
Yeah.
I didn't do it any more or less than the statement of the facts. What are you talking about? Me?
As a long-standing holder of, he's won on the European Tour. He can do it anywhere. Here. He's won there. What a gratifying Sunday today.
It was great. I know that was the Super Bowl and a big event, but I think we got to lead with naturally Monday after Tour Championship, August 25th. Robert Garrigus. Shouldn't that be what we talk about for the first 30 minutes here? Robert Garrigus just rumbling it through the wall like the Kool-Aid man to insert himself into the discourse at the end of the season. Come on.
This made my Saturday when this came across my desk.
We don't have to talk about it right now, but I just was throwing that little misdirection out there.
I just lit up on Saturday morning when this thing came across my desk. It was
the best. We hadn't heard from James Hahn, Bob Garrigus. We'll get to that. The Mule Whisperer, Adam Schupak, delivering the goods again. Absolutely. Garrigus wants a mule derby. Wants the mules to come on, call Jordan Spieth onto the carpet. So we'll play you for your spots. I love it.
This could be just a great series of matches. So Garrigus,
he's an innovator.
Garrigus wants to play Spieth for his spots. You know,
yes.
I don't know what's in it for Spieth.
Well, I mean, here's the quote to Schupak. We're doing it. The hell with Fleetwood. So does that mean one more sponsor invite for Jordan Spieth? Said Garrigus. Tell Spieth I'll play him for any amount he wants. I win, I get his 5 invites to the signature events. You know, roll-ups into innovation and improving the product. Here's one to get the people tuned in. You know, and I love it. I love it. The Mule Derby, I think, you know, like the Home Run Derby, you get 4 or 5 mules. And look, you know, with these sponsors' invitations, these guys got to sing for their supper a little bit. Like Ricky and Spieth have to do, you know, extra interviews or go to Workday or whatever, MasterCard, all this, and like just talk to rub elbows with executives and talk to people they don't want to talk to. And, you know, maybe this is it. You can accept it on the contingency. You got to play the mules for their spots. Maybe that's a great way to spice up the sponsor product.
I think this would be incredible. I have a question for you fellas. Who would be on your short list of mules in season 1 of Mule Derby, where a mule squares off against Jordan Spieth for one of his? How many signature events are there next year? 8? Are
9.
there 8 now?
There's 9 now.
So one of his 9 exemptions,
all
8
right.
to 9 exemptions that he'll be
play
handed.
His way in. I'm confident he'll play his way in.
He'll play his way. Will he play his way in through exemptions or on merit?
On swing 10, next 5, those kinds of things. Yeah, I think he qualified for a couple this year. Ricky was the one that got them all free.
Did he qualify with high finishes finishes in the signature events though?
I don't know.
Would be a question.
I don't think so. Someone
push
did.
Back
we did
to
the
you.
audit. We did the full audit. I mean, Garrigus is one just because he's, you know, the mouth here.
He came up with the idea. He obviously gets batch 1. But
I think James Hahn has to be included just based on, you know, a sort of seniority and, you know, based on the volume of shots he's put up there. I think you kind of got to give Ryan Armour because he coined the term mules. Yeah, like this was not some derogatory term we created or media or anybody. This is one themselves. Who would you put out there? Nate Lashley?
Nate Lashley has to get a spot.
Yes.
I'm kind of scrolling through here trying to find some more. Is it too disrespectful? I would love to see a Matt Kuchar match. Is he a mule now?
I mean, he's made $100 million or something on tour.
I just think that you get a great opportunity for him to mentor Jordan Spieth during the match. So I'd like to see him get a chance to go toe to toe with Spieth. It could be like a revisiting the last moment of Spieth relevance in the game.
I think Lanto's got to be in the lineup, right? You got to get Lanto Griffin in there.
Lanto for sure.
He's a disgruntled mule. Yeah, it would be a
Chuck
great product.
Hoffman? Does Chuck Hoffman count?
Yes. I mean, he's accomplished, I think, a little bit more, but absolutely at this point.
Bryce Garnett.
Ryan Palmer.
The tugboat?
Yeah.
God.
Oh, sorry, my alarm's going off.
What about David Cohn's kid, Trevor?
Throw him in there. Get them all going. Oh, God. It's a great idea. Again, but I think the only hole is in it. Like, what is in it for Spieth or whoever?
I don't think there should be. They should have to go beat this person to get the spot.
But they'll just be like, I'm not going to do that. I'll just see you down the line at whatever, the CJ Cup by Renessa.
Fine, then they don't play. They don't get their free points. They don't get their free cash. They don't get, The thing is, I wonder if some of these have the way this works too is they work a end around sponsorship deal with the brand.
Well, that's
in the long run.
That's what I'm saying.
It's double payment.
Workday and MasterCard and RBC and all these sponsors. Yeah, get them going. Hook it up. That's extra juice on Monday or Tuesday of tournament week.
Speaking of the Tour Championship, it was filled with CMO, CEO interviews.
Really?
Well, they had multiple partners, so they had them this was like every day I was getting one.
Well, you got proud partners.
Tony Womack was greeting me today?
Pork Chop Womack, I think is who it is. From the SoCo.
God, who was
SoCo
the baseball
and
player Womack?
What was his name? Muted.
Tony Womack was a baseball player. Yes.
Did he play for the White Sox?
Tony Womack played for the White Sox, yes.
Yeah. He was on the World Series team, right?
Yes, I believe he was. He was in that era, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
Tony Womack. Pork Chop Womack. He was a tackle. Floyd Pork Chop Womack. Played for Mississippi State, the Cardinals. All right. He played
Accenture the day before. Yeah, it was just...
Tony Womack was on the Cubs, not the White Sox. I got
there you go.
There you go.
There you go. Well, now he's the head of Southern Company. He's a
Yankee
long and winding career.
Yeah.
Now he's running SoCo. Coca-Cola, Accenture. A lot of they're not just partners; they're proud partners, which means it's an extra $5 million. I don't know what it is to be a proud partner. Go ahead, BJ. What are you going to say?
Do you think Peter Malnati would partake in the Mule Derby, or would he just want to organize it at great golf courses that are captivating for the TV audience? Because that's what it. We need to have the Mule Derby at places that matter, like the Tour
Championship. He took a run at East Lake.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
East Lake didn't. I wouldn't say East Lake flexed its muscle this week, but we'll get to that in a minute. It's a great idea.
Yeah, the East Lake conundrum's an interesting one.
I mean, is it a conundrum or is it a quagmire? I mean, what's the pro case? We're just stuck with it. Is what it is.
I think it's just maybe like it was boring before Andrew Green is still boring after. I think there's some interesting greens. Before I make a fierce declaration. I haven't been there. I always want to be a little bit careful, but some things are easy to spot. But it does seem rather uninteresting. Also, I just want to point out, Amplified, it just shouldn't be hosting in August. The Preferred Lives Super Bowl. This would be like the Super Bowl. They want to call it the Super Bowl of golf.
They don't want to call it that. Let's be fair. That was a deposition. That was a LIV lawyer who didn't know his head from his ass that called it the Super Bowl of golf to win an argument.
Well, to me, it's still the Super Bowl of golf.
All
the
right.
Super Bowl of golf. You want it to be the Super Bowl of golf. What would be what's the comp of Preferred Lives for football?
Well, they do play the Super Bowl in the Dome basically every year.
Not this year.
Not this year. But
it could be half this year. Speaking of, God,
Levi.
what if they got hit with an atmospheric river this year for the Super Bowl?
Isn't that the time of year? January,
yeah.
early February, first 10 days? It's just
like you're playing with fire that time of year.
I don't know. But if it works out, I'm a staunch defender of the San Francisco Super Bowl because you play the second half right at golden hour. You're going into the darkness. It's perfect for TV.
I mean, it's going to be great for me because I'm just going to be
You don't have
rolling
to go
down
anywhere. Yeah.
down the expressway to watch my Bears.
Oh, sure. I'm watching that Cowboys Netflix show. It's great. And they showed when they finally beat the 49ers in the NFC Championship game at Candlestick. And it was so much rain. They had this would have been, I guess, mid to late January back then. And they just tore up the field like the week of and put it down the middle was like good, okay turf. And then the outsides was just all mud and slop. And that's essentially what you're talking about. Same time, same area of the country. You might have preferred live Super Bowl.
It could happen. Yeah.
They wouldn't let.
You're playing with fire that time of year here.
But we had preferred lies all 4 days.
People always text me like, "Can I take a golf trip in February to where you live?" And I'm always like, "Well, it could be 65 and sunny, or it could rain like 4 inches in the day." So total crapshoot.
They did prefer. It rained there early in the week, and it rained.
I think it rained on Saturday too.
Yeah.
They're just so soft.
It was muddy. You could tell on some of the walkways. I got some insight from the ground that it was, soggy in spots, but they didn't even try. And you can move it from the rough to the fairway.
They're getting club length relief.
Yes.
Like, if you play a scramble, it's like you get a scorecard, and then on the PGA Tour, you get a club length. I just don't understand. Like, with a club length relief, you can dramatically alter your position. That can get you from behind a tree to not behind a tree.
It's terrible. It's
I
an
guess
embarrassment.
you wouldn't get a club length in the rough.
I felt so bad for the comms person. It's every morning they wake up and like, oh shit, here we go again. And then just the quote tweets and the replies were just an avalanche. And all 4 days, just getting bombarded for hate. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. What are you going to say? I will propose this, or just as a counter for the product win. Last week and this week, the limited field pro golf in twosomes versus threesomes. And I know we've heard this for a long time, but especially when it's a smaller field, it is like a different sport. It is a different sport to consume. NBC, credit to them, did no commercials there for the last back 9, I guess it was. But when you get twos, it's like the difference between watching like an Iowa offense is like threes, and whatever the 2019 LSU team. Like, it is a different sport when they just go from threes to twos, and it's been great the last 2 weeks for pace.
Can I throw a caveat out there?
Yes,
it is drastically different unless Patrick Cantlay's in the final group.
What was he doing during the ruling with Fleetwood? What was it on 8? Like, it was like Fleetwood took forever to get his thing, and then he didn't even he wasn't dropping yet, and then he didn't do anything in terms of his. I guess he didn't know where his drop was precisely going to be, so he didn't. But he still walked. He was slow. He was waggling and leaning, shifting on the greens, tip tapping his toes all day. He was slow. He was bad. But congrats. I mean, we're now at minute 13. We've talked about the Super Bowl. Robert Garrigus. I suppose we should give Tommy Fleetwood his flowers.
So is he Mr. 1001 or 2? 1000, Mr. 1001.
Or 4001 or 401. Who knows what the PGA Tour is.
Mr. 1001.
Congrats to Tommy Fleetwood. Gets his first PGA Tour win on a gross leaderboard. On the net, we have breaking news from Sakumba, who did this yeoman's work on, this is what the net leaderboard would have been if we were using the starting strokes capitalized. And apparently Scheffler would have clipped him by a shot. Scotty Scheffler would have clipped him by a shot, but we're back.
Surely Tommy would have tracked it down if the roles were reversed. I'm pretty confident.
You think Tommy was just firing at pins and going for? I mean, I'd say he steered it. He looked like me trying to get a boat to the dock.
I don't know. I think some of the putts down the stretch were just like lags that he could have rolled one of those in, put a little bit more of a charge into him to get it done. I think he would have. I think he would have won if he needed to be one stroke lower. I think he would have gotten there.
What a declaration! Just manifesting it. Caleb Williams will be great. Tommy would have done it. All right, you could just say it'll happen.
Would have birdied 18 if he needed to. He's always. This is a guy that always gets it done when he needs to.
Right. He beats 29 players. Preferred lives for 4 days. Gets it done. People are ecstatic. I'm very. Justin Rose is filming him like his kid just hit a triple in Little League. And, he's just smiling ear to ear, filming his kid when it's his bird at bat. That's what Justin Rose looked like. LeBron's tweeting about it. Bill Simmons, Tiger Woods. Everybody is tweeting about Tommy Fleetwood. My mom just texted me, I'm so happy Fleetwood won. Like, this became a pretty big story that, it broke contain on just the golf universe. And is that because of the last few weeks of Fleetwood getting close? It's the hair. It's like, I'm trying to, he's a great golfer. We'll talk about that. He's a great golfer who's been nails in Ryder Cups and DP World Tour events. And I guess his silver medal at the Olympics, we were like throwing that out there as if it was a win, but it's a silver. He's done well on the highest stages and just hadn't won this PGA Tour event. This was a bigger moment for golf, a mainstream moment for golf, and credit to Fleetwood for getting it done.
Honestly, it feels like golf's been like living in the mainstream this whole July and August.
I think maybe since honestly the Rory thing, the Masters, it was a real massive moment for the sport.
I think like the other thing that's happened, and obviously LeBron's the latest celebrity to do this, but I mean, like the superstars of sport and a lot of big names and pop culture are just obsessed with golf.
It's interesting. There's only going to be harder to get tee times nowadays, but yeah, it's great. And Fleetwood, it sort of speaks to, I think what we sometimes get caught up in. We'll do that with the Ryder Cup discussion, picking apart, getting in the strokes gained crosstabs, right? And like this is how we analyze, good versus bad golf or good versus average golf, but at the end of the day. If you're a Spieth fan, you might not want to hear. What we want is like texture around these players. And we had that with Tommy Fleetwood. We had this story of this guy, and he's spoken to it, of like immense pain of getting close, maybe choking, maybe getting beat or a mixture of both over the years. And it was basically since end of June at the Travelers, like an all-timer, and another one in Memphis. And here he was again. He's popped at majors, I guess. He's been a presence, and then in Ryder Cups, and so there's texture to the personality, texture to like the story, and it had broken contain, and we got it. I did get several sort of misanthropes texting me, does this really count? Because it's 30 guys.
Lot of chatter, a lot of people wanting to poke holes in the 30 man field, but I would say that those same people are probably the people that said that the gross leaderboard is, in the last 7 years deserved a title.
Yeah. It's the same person. Did you think he was going to get it done? When he blasted one at 8, like because there's problems left.
To be completely honest, going into the round, I thought last week, I didn't, I unfortunately wasn't on the pod last week, but like, I thought this was like another week, and last week was this of like seeing like the power of Scotty. And last week, Big Shot Bob like melted before our eyes with Scotty. And in this situation, obviously Scotty did not get off to a perfect start and didn't, you didn't see him like ascending. He hit it out of bounds on the first hole.
Right.
But I thought Scotty might track him down again. And that was my big worry. But then the way the ocean just parted for him, the way that Cantlay started, and obviously Scotty struggling a little bit. But that being said, middle of the tournament, it was like it felt like anybody's tournament.
Yeah. And that's
he didn't do anything exceptional to win.
No, 12 and 13 were good. But they're wedges. They're shorter clubs but he stuck it. And that was enough. I mean, we talk about like what makes it. Go ahead.
The reality is Corey Connors ran out of holes.
How about Corey Connors? Fourth.
Let the record show fourth in the FedEx Cup in 2025.
God, when he was making his run, it looked like he was going to shoot 62. I was like looking, what did he do this year? I mean, he made 19 to 20 cuts. I mean, that doesn't mean you get a parade. He finished third at Bay Hill, and eighth at the Valspar, sixth at the Players, and that was like about it. He got hot there in March in the Florida Swing, and that hasn't done anything.
Well, he was notably a pretender at the Masters. Very, very notably.
That's right. On this podcast, and IRL.
Very notably.
Yeah. He finishes fourth.
I'll say if he would have won, I think it would have been fun to watch Canada wrap themselves in a pretzel to declare it a major.
They wouldn't have done that. I don't think they would have. But
congrats to Corey Connors on an incredible season. Climbs the mountaintop, finishes incredible. Fourth best player on the PGA Tour this year.
Scotty,
Scotty tied for the fourth best season on the PGA Tour.
This was not a great Sunday in terms of compelling play. I would say Memphis was the best Sunday of the playoffs. Last week we got that sort of pinnacle moment, crescendo moment with the hole out, but otherwise it was sort of a March to. There wasn't much drama outside of how Scotty's going to win, but just by how much. But we hit that crescendo at 17, and then this one was just. I mean, the entire story was just Fleetwood drama, Fleetwood tension. When they were on 15th tee, that was incredible. 90 seconds or whatever it was, where we're both like, oh my God, it is tense out here. And he doesn't even have the club out of the bag. He's just kind of staring. And that's what you can't get just by... You have to develop those characters and those history. And I'm not saying it's Rory at the Masters finally winning a major or completing a slam, but there was an element of that you just don't capture in some of the data or some of the FedEx Cup standings. And that's what you want as a sports fan.
I think, I agree. And I think the golf wins you remember the most in terms of are the out of the left field winners, the dominant winners, and then these guys that effectively can't seem to get it across the line and that anguish in the moment, or guys and girls. Because obviously Lexi Thompson would be in this discussion of just, when it comes to Sunday, there's just something that goes seemingly wrong every Sunday afternoon. So I think with Tommy, as you called it, the texture of him.
Yeah.
Was that what you said?
Yeah, the context of the story of it.
Yeah. This is exactly why I spent my childhood rooting for Lee Westwood, because he just would seemingly boot it down the stretch every time, and it makes you, and I think you see the outpouring of support for Fleetwood, and it's who's now the best player on the PGA Tour without a win? Have we declared who that is?
That's interesting. With Cam Young and Fleetwood getting off the board, we're going to go young with some young person.
I think it's Jackson Coyven.
I mean,
I'm joking. That's a joke.
He's always in these top 20s. He can't get across the line though, Coyven. So yeah, that. Is there anything with 30 guys? Or are we just not gonna? We're not gonna worry about that.
Yeah, you
Winston.
can if you want to go down that path. You can. You're more than welcome. It's a valid. I think it's a valid take. Like, am I going to make it? No, I'm not. These were 30 of the best players in the world. He won. He cruised to the win. After 15, and after Patrick Cantlay just took a dump in his pants before he hit his ball on the 16th tee, and then realized it mid swing and hooked it left over there. That's once that happened, it was over.
Yeah,
and he just that's the thing is so okay. If we had 70 more people in this field, Tommy Fleetwood's probably duking it out a little bit closer down the stretch. Him and one other player are probably at the top, but maybe not,
Yeah, never know. That's the thing. At one point, go ahead, PJ. You want to jump in?
Well, I was going to say, do you know how we know that this is not a major or a big deal? Is that Nike has only given him an Instagram story and not his own separate post for their big, moving graphic that they do for every Scotty win. So if this was on par, if this was on par with a big deal, I feel like we would have gotten more than just a simple Instagram story.
You know what is a big deal and never simple is the Mercedes GLS. Not simple because they've got 12 AI. I mean, that's not simplicity. It's beauty, but it's not simplicity. They combine power and finesse backed by 12 driver assist systems, nimble handling, cutting-edge AI technology, and superb craftsmanship. For 30 years, Mercedes-Benz has supported golf around the world, from partnering with the most prestigious major championships, Masters, I believe, and the Open, tournaments and players in the professional game, including LIV, who's got to be going to the Ryder Cup. Mercedes-Benz SUVs are the perfect companions for golf enthusiasts, and the GLS stands out as the pinnacle of the SUV lineup, combines or it anticipates your needs, ensuring every journey is as strategic as a championship-winning game plan. I'd like to talk about what kind of game plan was needed at Eastlake here in a minute. You might not have needed a GLS strategic level of strategery.
It's probably why Ludwig didn't play well.
Yeah. You can learn more by going to mbusa.com. Learn more about the GLS. God, I saw one on the road the other day. It's just, I was a thirsty boy when you see those. They pop off the road. Go to mbusa.com to learn more about the GLS.
You ready for the best player without a PGA Tour win?
Is it? Are we going to do like Patrick Rogers or something like that?
We're going to do Mav McNeely.
Okay.
He won the RSM, which obviously is a Corn Ferry event. But
you got me there for a second. PJ started shaking his head.
I was like, wait, that literally just happened.
I was hoping that Brendan was going to immediately push back, and then I was going to be like, well, you say this, that's not a PGA Tour event. Yeah. This event doesn't exist. So.
They always throw Patrick Rogers out as like a guy who's won a ton of money.
It's Denny.
It's
almost Denny. I mean, the reality is there isn't, at this point in time, there isn't a best player on the PGA Tour who hasn't won. That just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's like, hey, this guy should have won by now.
That's fair. Nothing even approaching the Fleetwood thing and sort of the
or the Cam Young thing.
That ramped up.
Best player in the world right now.
I mean, he's laying the law down.
Equal season to Scotty Scheffler. That's all I'm saying.
Finished fourth.
T4
in the FedEx Cup.
I mean, how about the Tank being like a top 2 to 3 player all year? He finished his 30th. I mean, 3 or 4 days, he had the highest. 3 or 4 days, I think he had the highest round. I believe like a 77 when like it was easier to shoot 67 than 77 out there. I mean, it was just 62, 63s all over the place.
I gotta say,
not reflective of his season, I guess. I don't know.
Tour Championship was outside of the Fleetwood win, not really strong for the European team. Now, on the LIV side of things, John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton, they crossed the Rubicon, entered the Coliseum at the Cardinal, and they conquered the LIV Golf League.
You quoting Arlo?
It was sporting drama of the highest order.
Crossed the Rubicon, entered the Coliseum of the Cardinal. Sporting drama of the highest order. I mean, that's just not true. It was sporting drama. It was good. I don't think it was the highest order. Neither was the Tour Championship. But yes, Arlo White. Who else played poorly? Ludwig, Rory was so-so.
I just don't think outside of Tommy, nobody played well. Would be my thing. And then you look at East. This is 1 week, small sample size, but I think just in general, I would say that outside of Tommy, the Europeans haven't played great the last month. Would you agree with that?
Harry Hall's played well.
He's not part of the Lads Club though.
He's out. He was there to greet Tommy with Rosie and Shane. He was trying to, maybe he's trying to get in the Lads Club. He's just trying to get brownie points.
I think the Lads Club's closed.
He's trying to rush. He's trying to rush the Lads Club.
They might open it up for him in 2 years, but this Lads Club is closed.
Does seem locked in. Anything else from East? Like, congrats to Tommy. I didn't think it was like a great Sunday, other than his storyline. They had preferred lies all 4 days. The drops at 8 were pretty interesting. Bones, credit to Bones, calling it out, saying, It rolled towards the hole twice. Now he just gets to place it.
That rule's got to change.
What rule? That you can place it?
Yeah, these guys have just figured out to find a spot where they drop it twice that it's going to roll forward. It's and then they get to place it every time.
But yeah. I mean, and they can't I love how
I think it should be like if it rolls forward in a significant amount, then you should not get to move. You should have to play it. If the ball rolls 2 inches forward,
it's good. You're good.
It's a way harder shot than if you get to place it.
Yeah. There were a lot of things going on in this championship.
It just felt like all I watched was guys putting the ball in their hand all week. And
Well,
when it was drops from infrastructure or just
Mud.
the ball in hand all week. It just
And then when it wasn't in hand, between Bones sort of being like, look, he got an incredible break. He hit it 70 yards offline. He gets to just place his ball. Bones on the Walking Reporter doing that. We had John Wood on the Walking Reporter narrating Scotty Scheffler's club choice at 6. 234 total. You had the wood out. You put it behind the ball just to get a feel for it. Didn't like it. I mean, when you say put it behind the ball just to get a feel for it, that's just setting alarms off in my brain. Maybe my brain's broken, though. Didn't like it. Went to the iron. So, a little bit more mushing with the iron. Now he thinks he's back to the wood. I think the lie is good. Well, no shit. Now I think the lie is good enough to get it out and get it tumbling. No, I'm just quoting John Wood. Maybe he didn't intend it that way. Bones walking, saying, insane break here. He placed it there. That was some good context from the ground. Interesting. So that we had that. You had ball in hand. I mean, Scotty just fighting the lefts all day. The ball still flies 330. He got snippy after the round. Snippy Scotty. Grumpy boy.
Well, he probably feels like a misdemeanor was committed today when Tommy Fleetwood got the win.
It's just a different thing. This whole this shouting about, I'm not here to defend the FedEx Cup, but maybe I am. Maybe I've been called to defend it as a public defender.
Do you want the starting strokes back?
No, this was it was a fine, normal golf tournament. And
what do you think about the groundbreaking new format of 72 hole stroke play?
I didn't need to hear about that. I think we overhyped that a little bit. We might have, to be frank, they might have overhyped Tommy winning a little bit, like he had just putting it on the level of Rory winning the Masters kind of thing, like the exaltation.
They didn't declare him crossing the Rubicon.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So at one point, I don't know, it crystallized for me. And Dan Hicks was going to commercial, and he said, the entire FedEx Cup season has built to this. And that's the whole, if you're listening, you're like, oh, that's bullshit. Like nobody in the season didn't build. But he said FedEx Cup season. It's just a different deal. Does it mean it's representative of the golf season, the majors, the best player? It's just this separate product that is the FedEx Cup season. And I'm okay with Tommy Fleetwood, who had one of the best years of his career in a significant way, in orders of magnitude better. It already was good, but orders of magnitude better in terms of striking the ball. Never won, wins today, beats 29 guys in a 72-hole stroke play event. Like, it's just the FedEx Cup season. I get the carping of, like, do I think it's representative of golf this year when we had Rory McIlroy complete a historic Grand Slam with this, like, burst of emotion, one of the all-time Sundays of the year, and the greatest player of his generation dominating and separating in a way we haven't seen since Tiger with 2 majors. And we concluded with Sunday with Patrick Cantlay and Tommy Fleetwood, who can never win, and Cantlay, who can only seem to win when the money's highest and the stakes the lowest. No, it's not representative of pro golf season as a whole, but it's the FedEx Cup season. It's just its own little separate deal, and it's fine. Is that fair? Is that too defensive? PJ's unconvinced.
He beat 29 guys. Like, if Rahm won last week, they would have played more holes last week at the LIV event between 54 guys playing 54 holes than 30 guys playing 72 holes. Like, we got all up in arms last week about how it's so dumb that Rahm won the overall thing without winning. This is like, to me, it's pretty similar. Like, I think it's bad. I think it's bad. I think it's really bad.
Doesn't count, asterisk.
I don't know if I'm going as far as, like, I don't know. Like, it is the Hero World Challenge with, like, more sponsors. Like, if we want to give them a win, we can give them a win.
Hero
but
World Challenge.
I'm not, like, I don't think this is a huge deal. And I feel bad for going as hard as we went at LIV when this is the end result on the other side.
No. I mean, I'm not trying to be a PGA Tour booster here, but
neither am I. But
the guy who won 5 times, not beating the guy who won 0 times, including the day.
The guy who won 5 times in 2 majors came in 4th and tied with Cameron Young on the season and Corey Connors, who shot a 62.
It's just a different product.
One time.
Finished behind Pat Cantlay, too.
Well, if we are considering a different product, Patrick Cantlay should be arguably like the number 1 FedEx Cup player of all time, because it's just all about the money and nothing matters. So
I want to give Cantlay. He's amazing in team events. So I just want to give him a little bit of grace.
I don't think it's good. I think we have to figure out, like, a middle ground that, like, Scotty came in 4th. I think that's terrible.
Snippy Scotty, this is where he was bothered. He was asked, I think it was Bob Herrick, I listened to it the other day, you cited that Tiger example from the Masters about why you don't give up. I just wonder if there's ever been any thought of letting off the gas a little bit, like just to enjoy it. Scotty, you tell me. He loves doing that. When he's not happy with the question, he does the you tell me. He's every time you go search. I've noticed that this year. You tell me.
How fast were you going? You tell me.
He's letting the interrogate. Yeah, he's letting you hang yourself. It's a good turn a question, answer the question with the question.
Is there a problem, officer? You tell me.
That's a great point. It's a lot harder coming in here and answering questions. Why did you hit it out of bounds on 1? Why did you hit it in the water on 15? God, he was not happy with Cara asking him that. He's like, he struggled off the tee, on 1 and 15. He goes, well, 15's a par 3. I think she didn't say you struggle with the driver. She said off the tee, and technically those are both tee shots. He did not like that question. I'd rather you say, hey, you just won again. How does that feel? I think that's a lot more fun than coming in 4th or 5th place. So Scotty, I like it. I like a little bit of edge on Scotty. A little grumpy boy. He wasn't good though today. Any concerns?
No. I mean, like the thing is like Until he hit it in the water on 15, you're like, God, this guy might win this
He's
thing.
gonna win.
Even with an out of bounds ball and a water ball. It was just, I think the one thing that like you're seeing is like this and the PGA on Saturday is like, okay, he can hit some bad shots. I mean it's amazing that we've gotten to the point of like, are you concerned with Scotty because he was in contention and didn't get it done today?
Finish fourth.
Like, that's a pretty wild place to be, right?
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of
like,
time for the stats.
I'll be concerned if I see him hit driver like that more often than like once every 3 months.
Yeah. They kept throwing out the stat of most top 8 finishes in a row since like Ben Hogan. Like, I mean, we're just cutting the cookie with any way we want here, just to say stuff. And we know he's great.
I will say, I think like something that goes a bit under talked about with this run, the Scotties playing golf late on the weekend, week after week after week. Like after 1 week of being in contention is exhausting.
Keegan said he was done. He was totally gassed by 10 today.
It is so exhausting. This guy is effectively like just every tournament he plays in, he's in contention, and some of them are week after week after week after week. It is unbelievable, the level of golf and the, I know that golf gets, beat up on about like the mental endurance that he has built up to be able to play golf at such a high level week after week. Because I think like that is one of the hardest things to really understand if you haven't played like golf at a very high level. It's just how exhausting a 72 hole tournament is in terms of mental. Because it's the idea of like, if you talk to a pitcher about baseball, sure, they'd say like, yeah, your arm gets tired, but also your brain gets tired from the stress level of tough innings or tough at bats, high leverage situations. These tournaments where you're in the hunt, like, especially when they're playing threes, or these major championships where they go 6 hour, 5.5 hour rounds, like you're mentally just so dialed in this place of high anxiety for such a long period of time that it's just really hard to do it week in, week out. And that's the thing that's just amazing with Scotty, is that we're here surprised, or are we worried about Scotty? Like, no.
Hit some balls left today.
He just had his like C game off the tee today, maybe even worse. But I think like the golf course, it's an interesting conversation about the golf course, because it just shows like this is not an interesting golf course for the PGA Tour in its current setup.
Summerlin model didn't do it for you, didn't change anything.
I think it was probably less interesting before. I don't know. I'm not going to definitively say it was. I think, and I don't think there's like a definitive answer. You could argue it either way. I think some of the greens are a lot more fascinating. Like what happened with Patrick Cantlay on 2 today wouldn't have happened before. But the one thing that I saw, like, I think like what people want out of a golf course outside of like your cathedrals of the sport are kind of what 15 delivers, where there's like water all around and it's like a very high leverage shot. And where I was thinking about today watching it through the lens of the golf course is the reality of this is that the golf courses that fans want to play, PGA Tour players want to see PGA Tour players play, when it's not like a great piece of land with like an elaborate design. The best thing you can do is make a golf course that's absolutely dreadful for everybody else other than tour players. And it's dreadful for them. They would call it unfair. But what people want to see is like extremely risky shots. Like if you want to talk about about product and delivering something that would get ratings, they should build like some preposterous golf course
Out of bounds.
where there's just like crazy shit everywhere. And there's some holes that aren't crazy that like give you chances, but the shot on 15, like
Fun to watch today.
I was like, I got to the edge of my seat to watch it with Fleetwood, and then he hit it left, and you're like, oh, this might be going in. And if you created a golf course that had a few of those moments, maybe there's like 6 to 8 of those types of moments throughout, it would be fascinating. Now, players would hate it, but the reality is, players, like great quarterbacks, probably hate when they have to go against Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs defense. That's a great defense. And the golf courses should be, especially with the ones like the Tour. I think the smartest thing the Tour could do for the playoffs is just go build some preposterous golf courses in good markets that build their own identity. If you think about TPC Sawgrass 40 years ago, every player complained about it for the most part. And it stood up pretty well, but it delivers because there's a lot of places for guys to get in trouble. That's what makes it interesting to watch.
Yeah, build a network, TPC courses in different major markets.
And to be completely honest, these golf courses are going to be awful for the public to play.
But people will play them because they can say they play where the pros play and lose a dozen balls or whatever. Go ahead.
And I lost 20 balls, but
Yeah.
I played where the Tour Championship is every year.
I mean, maybe this is becoming more and more possible with the inmates maybe running less of the asylum as you have an Enterprises, PGA Tour Enterprises, and Brian Rolep and others. But I mean, the Tour flexed its chest, puffed its chest out, like, we're making this hard now. No more starting strokes. This course is going to be hard. And then they like grew the rough up left of 8 to make a little bumper there. They did preferred lies all 4 days. They used the harder tee on 15, a couple times.
They played 9 up one day, on Saturday because,
but it was just all
easier.
Mid 62s, 63s, like across the board. It was hard to shoot 71. Nobody shot like worse than 71 outside of the tank.
The reality is that when it's soft, there's just really, I think that not
Doesn't
a lot
matter.
you can do.
Greens are perfect, allegedly. Like, they're perfect too, and they're just going to carve it up. So it's interesting. It wasn't the most interesting final round or Tour Championship, but the Fleetwood story is a great one.
Don't think it can be very compelling there in August. I'd be interested to see it in October, where it has a chance to maybe play a little bit firmer.
Yeah, I thought you talked about Cantland too. I was cackling when they say every single player in the field had parred it. There's 28 straight pars. Had 2, and then it went both ways when the final group, Fleetwood finally made a birdie and Cantley made a mess. But yeah, I was like, all right. Everybody's just throwing it on.
Speaking of the playoffs next year, I think it was the 3rd hole at Belle Reve that nobody made worse than a par on during the PGA. It was like Saturday of the PGA. I want to say that nobody made worse than a par.
We had a podcast then, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
I remember you were loving it. You were big and shit with that. That's good. That's good. One other thing we do love is our friends at Echo. You can't too. You go to us.echo.com. They own their own factories and leather tanneries, allowing full control over quality and craftsmanship. We love good craftsmanship right here. We talk about that with Mobject. Echo also
crafts peopleship.
They launched their first golf shoe in 1996, so they're not just new on the scene here. Thomas Bjorn was their original ambassador in 2000. Obviously, they got the Golf Street, the hybrid shoe with Freddie Couples at the Masters that started the hybrid revolution. So their shoes deliver all-day comfort, ideal for long rounds or walking the golf courses. We have sleek, modern designs they do and transition easily from the course to the clubhouse. They have waterproof HM100K waterproof technology. Fluorine, I don't know what the hell that is. Sounds fancy. Sure, it's very effective. Fluorine, I'm like taking chemistry here again. My table, what's the periodic table of elements? I don't know if that's on there, but it's in the Echo shoes. They have the Michelin rubber outsole in trail shoes. I had a Michelin man on the side of my tanks at Oakmont, the trail shoes. Primaloft, Gore-Tex, and the Prosoma heel cup, which I know Andy is a big fan of. They got Lydia Ko, the Piss Bear, Henrik Stenson, EVR, Allison Lee, and Thomas Bjorn are some of their ambassadors.
The gentleman, too.
The
Don't
gentleman.
forget about the gentleman.
I'm sorry.
Torbjorn
Olsen. Go to us.echo.com. Peruse. They've got many, many styles, different colors of golf shoes. They also got casual shoes. So thanks to them for their support all summer. They put so much effort and thought into every shoe, and it kind of comes through in comfort and durability. Go to us.echo.com. Anything else on Atlanta that we need to discuss? Rick Ross was out there talking to Rolap. Anything else?
I had a couple.
Please.
I just think something that gets brushed under the rug is just how ridiculous these guys are, in the sense of like Cantlay starting out bogey double in a final group, and then like hanging in there and having like a real shot to win.
Yeah.
It's like the normal golfer, or like even like the high level amateur, like so often you get that start and they're just gone. See ya.
Yeah.
Like you're everything's moving so fast. And I think like the same could be said about Scotty. Like hits an OB on one, makes bogey, makes the double on 15, immediately comes back with a birdie. Like, these guys, I think it's kind of amazing how, and I think that's something that like doesn't get talked about enough with the best players in the world. It's just like how immune they are to like, the wheels do come off every once in a while, but there are so many rounds. Like I thought with Cantlay after the start, I was like, oh, well, he's done. And then it's just like, oh no, he makes a couple birdies and he's right there. I think that's something. A Saturday note I had just written down. Where does Big Shot Bob rank in the greater world of golf for you at this point? Because he's just been kind of around a lot.
Like, just is he a top 20 player, or what do you mean? Like for me,
yeah, like where would you put him?
Like I don't know, 10 somewhere, 10 to 12. He's out there. He's around. What about you? You're asking the question. Seems like you've thought about it. You tell me.
I don't know. I think it's higher than I ever imagined a boy from Oban getting.
It's a good player.
I mean, I'm right. I could eat crow. I said after the last Ryder Cup, that'd be the last Ryder Cup you ever see Big Shot Bob.
He's in.
Hand up. I was wrong.
He's going to play.
I'm kind of astonished. But I guess when, equipment allows you to just bash it off the toe all day.
Come on. That's bullshit. What did he finish today? They were showing
he bombed
17.
Out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but he was in the mix on Saturday, Saturday. This is that also he was bad on Saturday.
God, Hovland and Harmon and Connors just trying to go low. I mean, it's insane that you start the day. It's like I just go post a number and make like, $400,000, $500,000 more with that. I will face no real competitive juice or intensity or pressure in any way in terms of I might win, anything like that, any scrutiny, but I could just go post a number. I know this exists pretty much every week where you can shoot up the leaderboard, but this week with the limited field, it was especially apparent. And those guys made a couple hundred G's more by just posting a kind of pressure-free Sunday round.
The last big East Lake topic is the Keegan Bradley.
Okay.
They were really working us with the kids this weekend.
Kissing the putter, running on the green. Yeah.
Going off, walking across the fairway on one hole, on the front nine to go see the kids after approach
I
shot.
saw that. He finished his 7th, shot a 70 today, was kind of in the mix through the first, 7, 8 holes, and then was not really going to be a challenger. Finishes tied with Sam Burns and 1 shot behind Cameron Young. I think it's kind of insane to get into that level of microanalysis of this is what it's come down to. I hope not. Regardless of the outcome, I would hope that's not how we're doing this. He played really well Friday, Saturday. Played really well to get himself back. I don't want to say back, but these are the swings that we take with these things. And the roster is locked and final on Wednesday, and the Pro Core won't matter in terms of who could make it anymore. But I mean, this shit changes, it seems like, on the daily. And I think if we over-index based on the most recent Saturday round of 64, then that's not an ideal way to take ourselves through the process. I'm not suggesting they are, but in terms of the analysis and over-analysis, it seems to really swing more than I can ever recall from week to week. And maybe that's just because so many guys have really viable cases.
Well, let's overanalyze. So you got Scotty. The top 6 are locked in, which is Scotty, Spawn, Schauffele, Henley, English, DeChambeau. JT's 7th, he's in. Morikawa is 8th, he's in. All intensive purposes. Then you got Ben Griffin 9, Matt McNeely 10, Keegan 11, Brian Harmon 12, Novak 13, Cam Young 14, Cantlay 15, Sam Burns 16. These haven't been updated. So you imagine Cam Young, Cantlay, and Burns will probably all move up in this.
Justin Thomas was asked about it. He almost was like, I don't want to say he was offended by the question, but he was sort of like, I mean, I finished like whatever, 7th or 8th on points. And based on what I've done in these team events, like I guess could be an issue. I'm not, he answered it the right way, but it was amusing. He had to. So you're at 8 with Morikawa and Thomas. Cantlay, I think, is a lock at 9. Rumors he was fit for a hat already and all stuff like that.
He was fit for a hat?
Allegedly.
Multiple hats?
I don't know. I forget when and where I heard that. I'm very unsubstantiated. I forgot that was in my brain. So you're at 9. So now you've got Griffin, Ben Griffin. Seems like a soft lock. I'm saying soft because I don't know. 10, and then you have.
I don't know. It depends on the creatine.
Snowball of creatine went down the gullet.
He landed a sponsorship deal out of that.
Really? Of course he did. And then you've got Griffin at 10, which I'm not ready to say he's on, even though maybe he should be for sure. Keegan, Burns, Young for 2 spots. And maybe Griffin, if you want to say 4 for 3.
I'm going to put Sam Burns as a lock because of the buddy ball. And he's played pretty well.
Oh my God, you're going to kill PJ. You're going to shatter PJ's world.
I'm not ready to lock in Griffin. Just because I think
that's
buddy.
maybe...
This is not my picks. I want to be clear. These are not my picks. This is just me reading the situation.
Yep.
And saying what I'm thinking about the situation. I think Burns is a lock. I think Cam Young is in. I just don't see how you could not put him on the team based off of how he's playing. Yeah.
He had a pretty terse response when asked. He said it'd be really hard to take if the call doesn't go my way. I mean, he's throwing the gauntlet down there. He goes, I feel like I've done everything I can the last 4 weeks. I mean, you could not everything. Could have won more. I don't know.
They talk about how important form is, and then
Morikawa shouldn't be on. Sepp shouldn't be on. I don't know.
He's gone 1-5-11-4. And then he also had a T4 at the U.S. Open and a T4 at the Canadian Open. So he's had, 4 top 5s and another win in his last, 12 starts.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So you're putting it on, you're saying Burns is a lock and Cameron Young is on? And you're going Keegan versus Griffin?
Keegan versus Ben Griffin for the last spot.
Anyone else, like the Goddard, Maverick McNeely, all that stuff's kind of...
Those are gone.
That's gone. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Would you say that Sam Burns is not a lock?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a lock. I don't think you can do that. I don't think the buddy ball carries the day, but I do think it's a potential it's a potential canary in the coal mine for Griffin. I think this is how the Ryder Cup has gone historically. I think, guys who have been there before, guys who have been a part of the system, guys who have been in the cabal, guys who are known quantities, always get the call if there's a toss-up. Sometimes there's not, and you just put a rookie team, Finau in the spot or something like that.
Who would you pick between Keegan and Ben Griffin?
Me, personally? Yeah. What's my personal opinion? I think Ben Griffin.
All right, gentlemen.
Oh, whoops, wrong
All right,
one.
gentlemen. Welcome to Congress.
Ron Brea.
What's my personal opinion on it? There is no personal opinion. I'm the president.
I think because Keegan's the captain. If you haven't heard, I think you pick Ben Griffin. Is probably a more sensible choice.
I guess the better question: should Keegan be on the team?
No, he's been great. I heard we were about going live. And Brandel was rattling off some stats. He's been a better golfer than half the team. Cameron, he's been a better golfer than him. He's been a better golfer. If you look at, I don't know what stats
what
he's talking about.
Stats?
I don't know. I'm just telling you that you could make an argument.
Categorically, over the last 3 months, he's not been better than Cameron Young.
I'm saying he's been a great American player, one of the 12 probably best this year.
The problem, everybody uses all these stats. And I'm not trying to be the anti-stat guy. I look at stats too. But the thing about analytics is you can literally paint any picture you want. You can manipulate numbers. It's I'm going to count this event. I'm not going to count this one. And if I do that, then I'll come up with or I'll omit this golf course because it's not really similar to Bethpage. You could do a million things. A million things to manipulate numbers to make your point.
I think, honestly, you're making something I've been thinking about the last couple of days is the Ryder Cup points list they shouldn't even post these. This should not be a metric because then we totally over-index, and maybe you get rid of all automatic qualifiers, and then you make a roster of 12 guys that whatever look, this guy did the best in these majors that we count, and he's done the most in these cup events. But these random ass points list, which we're going to get to Rasmus in a minute, talk about, a lightweight resume, but he's locked in on points. I know
what you're trying to do here.
What?
You're trying to pave the way for Jordan Spieth. If we eliminate
he would be on the team if there was no points list. He
gets
would.
on the team.
I mean, that's what we're you don't do when you're an NFL general manager, you don't draft a guy based on, purely on, you compile a rating based on a number of factors.
If the guy who's ninth on the points list in back-to-back Ryder Cups does not get picked, in Cam Young last time and Ben Griffin this time, then we should just nuke the points list. The points list should just go away. There's no point.
You just made I didn't realize that. I forgot Cam Young was ninth. So that's
Cam Young got screwed bigger than Keegan last time. Right. Nobody wants to hear this, but it's a fact.
I mean, you talk about boys club. You got elbowed out by Spieth, Ricky, the whole boys club. JT. Well, that's another potential alarm bell for the Griffin candidacy if number 9 didn't make it last time.
What about Wendy Clark? Do you think he could sneak in still?
Just the enforcer, like a guy. You take a guy on the hockey roster he's not good, doesn't belong necessarily, but he fights people.
We just need somebody to go scrap. Go get in the mix with Sepp and Shane. Need a firecracker out there.
We'll know Wednesday.
I'd be worried if I'm the Europeans about the tank.
Totally,
for sure.
So Keegan, he says it's the biggest decision of his life.
That's ridiculous.
Choosing a wife, I would say, or a partner, like deciding to get married, feels like one. I don't know.
Having a kid.
Yeah.
Deciding, we're going for it. We're going to bring another human. I can tell you what would never be considered. The biggest decision of my life was whether I played a Ryder Cup, an exhibition or not.
God. I was looking at all the quotes he's did. He's, I think it'd be a really difficult job, he said last year. I don't think I could do it. I made a promise to myself I'm not going to worry about it until this time comes if I do. Now he's saying it's the biggest decision of his life. He feels like he's done a good job to be a candidate. What he said on Sunday, I'll tell you what, to Todd Lewis, he goes, the right decision is that we win on Sunday. What? Like, that doesn't matter. Like, whether he picks himself or not and they win or not, you can't let results dictate the process being good or bad. So no matter what decision I make here, I could have gone the other way easily, no matter what. The only thing I care about is on Sunday of the Ryder Cup that we win the Ryder Cup. Then I'll know I made the right decision. Maybe you'll feel some sort of validation, but that's never been the deal. It could be a marginal difference of whether but it's still what's the right process and right decision, outcome independent. But that's not, I guess it's a facile answer to say like, oh, I'll just know, the right decision is that we win. That's not right. That doesn't make any sense. PJ, you want to jump in?
I think on the binary of, does my opponent want me to make this decision? And they very clearly want him to play. I would probably not do that thing. This would be like asking the Chiefs, like, oh, do you mind if we start the backup quarterback this week? It's like, yeah, obviously, everybody's going to say yes to that. Like, why they are publicly goading him into this? Like, they want this to happen.
Here's my question to you guys: is the team better with Keegan playing or Ben Griffin playing?
It's a good question.
If you said Burns and Cam Young are on,
he had a quote where
like
it's a fair question.
If there's a major championship at Bethpage tomorrow, or
Ben
in a
Griffin.
month,
Ben Griffin, 1,000%.
You're such a Griffin head.
No, but I mean, he was lights out in every major this year.
PJ spends too much time on TikTok.
No. This is you can't retcon. We talked up Ben Griffin all year, and now we're at the finish line, and we're just throwing out how impressive he was in the majors this year. We're just throwing it all out.
I mean, you take the points away, Russell Henley might not be on the team.
No,
they definitely don't have 12 better guys than Russell Henley.
I'm not suggesting that. But
well,
like,
you take the points away, then you could get your Spieth, your
you
boy Spieth in there.
I mean, I love that Henley was hitting driver on 8 and couldn't get it there, where all these other guys are trying to hit like 4 woods to get. I don't know. I'm talking about course fit. Maybe a GM goes over indexes on that. That's an interesting framing. Who would you pick if you were playing a major at Bethpage next month? Would you pick Keegan or Ben Griffin tomorrow?
I think I would pick Ben Griffin. I think that Keegan is like, I think he has like his courses. He's played the tour for freaking 20 years now, and like, yeah, he goes to Travelers and he wins at Travelers. Like, I think we're over-indexing Travelers as important. It's like a 6,800 yard like fun little golf course. It's not Bethpage Black, and I just at this point I think Keegan Bradley. I've been saying Keegan Bradley's a lock forever, and at this point I think I'm over it. I think I'm just gonna say they're better with Ben Griffin than they are with Keegan. I think the best team is honestly Burns Young and Ben Griffin.
So that's probably
if I was gonna just like say I want my best team, it's that.
It seems like he's going to pick himself, though. I'm not sure that's going to go that
does.
way.
Oh, my God. He's absolutely going to pick himself. The whole Arnold Palmer bag being at registration. This
captain's room.
This was just layered in propaganda all week. He's absolutely picking himself. It's just who does it come at the expense of?
He had something where he said, I'm going to call some guys or a guy or two who really think they're on the team, who like really are convinced they're on the team, and tell them no, they're not on the team.
It's a tough look for Jordan.
I think like our little exercise here of it seems like we've presumed Burns and Young is obviously not necessarily the reality. So we'll see. Maybe that's not the way it goes. We'll talk about this Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm sure, once they go live. But we're saying likely Keegan, Burns, Young is where we're landing, but best would be Griffin, Burns, Young.
I think it should be Griffin, Burns, Young.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know if I believe it should be Burns. I think I'd rather have Burns though, honestly, than Keegan.
In the world where we throw out name value and points lists, would you rather have Keegan or Colin Morikawa?
Maybe I'd rather have Colin Morikawa. Still,
it's interesting, but we just like
a month is a long time. I'm taking the guy that hasn't been outside the top like 7 in the world rankings, and
we're prisoners of the
5
moment.
years.
And so he shoots mid 60s on Friday, Saturday, and all of a sudden we're like, well, he's on, and then Cam Young beats him today. We're way too much prisoners of the moment. On the other side, the automatic qualifiers locked for Europe are Rory McIlroy, Tommy Fleetwood, Bobby McIntyre, Andy's guy, Tyrrell Hatton, Justin Rose, and Rasmus Højgaard gets in on points. That means the likely roster will be those 6. You can stop me if you think anything's crazy here. Ludwig a pick, Hovland a pick, John Rahm a pick, Matty Fitz a pick, Shane Lowry a pick, and the tank Sepp Straka a pick. And that's their team. It's the same as last time.
Team.
Sub Nico Højgaard for Rasmus Højgaard. That removes any Harry Halls. Alex Noren won the Betfred British Masters. Marco Penge has been good. I don't know who else. Am I missing other? Nico obviously was a candidate, but he's out. Straka would be sort of one that might get bumped off, but it's not going to happen. Seems like they're locked and loaded to win an away Ryder Cup, in my opinion. It's gone about as well as you could. There's little drama around the selection process. I'll say this. I don't understand how Rasmus qualified on points. I mean, I do. There's an accounting. He won the Irish Open at RCD last year. A great event that we loved. I don't know what that means for September 27th in Bethpage. He finished second at the DP World Tour Championship last whatever it would have been, end of the year. He hasn't won this year. He finished second at the Danish Golf Championship last week, which is, come on. I mean, it's a lightweight event, lightweight field.
It's a national open, maybe.
Fine. He finishes whatever he finished today, like 18th or something. Not. Look at his record this calendar year. There's nothing there. 16th at the Open Championship, 12th at the Phoenix Open. What 14th at the Dubai Desert? I'm not talking about like runners up. I'm talking about 13th, 14th, 16th.
You know what? His page looks like? Jordan Spieth.
And
it's like a ton of like T34s.
I just don't understand how he got the points. but he did.
I
He's
think he
locked
got the
in.
points because he finished second in the race to Dubai,
Dubai last year.
that season ender. Which
But
like
what is that?
I think he entered the year like second in points.
Right. And then
their point list is like so ridiculous. The fact that nobody got points at Eastlake this week, but they got points at the Rinky Dink DP World
don't
Tour
go at
event.
the Belfry like that. Come on. Rinky Dink, they couldn't even show it on television. That's how Rinky Dink it got. They had an hour of like just kvetching on the Golf Channel, Carl's Golfland ads and promos and things like that while they're playing 16, 17, 18. And they did an hour pregame show for the Tour Championship. And I love Johnson Wagner, and he's doing his bits out there on the chip-in and putting. But they go to the NBC Sports app, which, you know, you have to be a cable subscriber for. You can't watch it on Peacock. You pay for Peacock. You can't watch the end there. You would get like a 20-minute free preview on the app. I am a Comcast subscriber. I go yell into my remote NBC Sports app like I do when I say ESPN Plus to go watch PGA Tour Live or Netflix. It says this app is not connected. I said, I'm a Comcast. This isn't even like a different cable provider. So it was like just relegated. And it was interesting. I mean, you had Nico maybe getting a run. You had Fitzy, Penge, Alex Noren winning for the first time in several years.
Should Alex Noren be on the team? Should he break into the lads club?
They were trying to, I think it was Tim Barter was trying to grease him. Well, if you win this week and you win next week, are you on the team? He's like, no. He's like dismissing it. Don't even start this.
It's like he's like, I'm not part of the lads club.
He's been on the team before.
Could you knock Tank out? Is Tank the most likely to be knocked out? Or is Fitzy still?
I think he's a proper lad. He is firmly lad. He's got the tattoo and the password to get into the club. He's got the right marks.
Do you think they keep Nico in the lads club and have him drive the carts around like Rasmus did last time?
Could see that for sure.
And then he could put on a uniform and play, and no one would know. If Rasmus can't find the center of the club face, they can just sub Nico in. Anyways, their team is locked. The Rasmus accounting was confusing to me. Congrats to Alex Noren. They will name their 6 picks next Monday, Labor Day here in the U.S., September 1st. Elsewhere, Brooke Henderson wins in Canada. First win in 2 years. Emotional there, winning her National Open. LIV Detroit, the team championship, as Arlo called it.
The Rubicon.
Sporting drama of the highest order. Is won by Legion 13 in a playoff, which was interesting. It was good. I watched it. Good stuff. Hatton doing Hatton things, as Sue Ann might say. And I mean, just if you're an American, absolute Ryder Cup, harbinger. Hatton and Rahm just rumbling over Bryson and Paul Casey being the fourth. It's like one of these things is not like the other 3. They beat the Crushers to win the team championship in that top level. It was them, the Crushers, and the Status who won the match plays on Friday, won the match play on Saturday, and then they did 4-stroke play counting on Sunday. And you have Legion 13. So double dip for Rahm.
Good event. It's a good event. This is where I just think like team golf events have potential, just not in the way that LIV generally does team golf events. I think like team match play golf we see it with the NCAAs every year. It's super fun. We see it with the Ryder Cup, and I don't know what the way to do it without it being gimmicky, but I do think like if TGL was team match play golf on real golf courses of just real golf, it'd probably be pretty awesome. But it's not. So
Yep. It was a good finish.
Franchise values keep going up though for TGL teams. And a lot of scuttlebutt
That's the way it works.
About potential valuations.
Oh God.
Going up.
Yeah, they got some powerful people behind that. A lot of investors they don't lose their money. They don't invest in things that tank, I don't think. PJ, you disagree?
I don't know. I mean, Steve paid Frankie Montas $34 million for like 20 bad innings. That's a loss of money. I would say he's not happy about that.
Yeah. So LIV Detroit was a good finish, and that's what you'd probably want is Rahm versus Bryson if you're a LIV booster or curious. That was a good finish. On the Champions Tour, who won, PJ?
Stu Cink, back to back,
that's right,
becoming an Allied Challenge Grand Blanc, Michigan, champion of the world in a playoff over Ernie, which is you hate to see that, but Stu had the 36-hole lead and faltered a little bit, birdied I think 2 out of his last 3 to get into the playoff with Ernie at the end there.
That's great. And then we've lost Andy.
We've lost Andy.
Lost him.
Okay.
U.S. Senior Women's Open. He just didn't want to hear about it. Becky Morgan of Wales beat Julie Inkster, kind of in a runaway. That wasn't that close. She won by multiple shots out at San Diego. That event ended early on the West Coast. Becky Morgan of Wales wins your U.S. Senior Women's Open. Anything else? News? PJ, USA team. We forgot in the Keegan discourse, Trump is saying Keegan must and should be on the team. Also that he'll be there as an invitee of the PGA Tour. So that's good.
I don't know if I remains to be seen if he actually meant the PGA Tour, but we'll see. You think we could get Trump and Don in the same room and just throw a microphone in there and see what happens?
The 2 Dons, Donald and Don.
Yeah.
That would be good. Raya. That would be good.
Just let him cook. Just see what happens.
Oh God, we didn't give James Hahn his sort of his flowers about.
No,
saying,
and I don't know where Andy is, but we need Andy
call
for this.
me. We got Garrigus. That was the Mule Derby.
He can go ask Jay for my number.
Roloff
okay.
will be calling you
Sure.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. It was pretty good. He says, we've effectively given away $200 million in 3 years to the top guys. He said, I don't want to waste my time unless he's willing to hear the truth and what actually happened in those meetings to get us where we are right now. Roloff can get my number from Jay Monahan if he really wants to reach out. Do you think Roloff has any freaking clue who James Hahn is?
I think he might after this article. I'm sure
he does.
I think he probably texted somebody being like, who are these 2 guys?
But I'm not willing to sacrifice my time to another executive who isn't willing to listen. He's probably talking to or has talked to Tiger, Rory, Jordan. Yeah, probably. And the guys on the board. He says, he made a Matrix reference, about take the red pill or the blue pill.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. That was Hahn's contribution. He talked about, he considered reaching out to Roloff to tell him, as he put it, quote, this is according to Shupak, the other side of the truth. I mean, that's not a thing. There's the truth, and then it's true false for a reason.
But
I get that there's
isn't this
interpretation.
Peter Malnati's job? Does he just hate that Peter Malnati has just succumbed to the signature event model? Is that it? I thought they literally had a representative for this. I thought there was a job for this exact role.
The other side of the truth. He can call me. He can get my number from Jay. He can reach out to me. I'm not wasting my time on it. Anyways, that was good. That was the best news of the week. Garrigus and Hahn getting off their takes
to drop that on a Saturday morning it was perfect. Everything about it was just.
We needed to hear from them. All right. I think that does it. Do we know our schedule yet for this week? We may throw in an extra Ryder Cup picks reaction or chat. We'll figure it out. We'll announce it or talk about it on the next podcast. Are we going to hold Tuesday's show till after the picks are done?
I don't know. We were going to figure that out, but Andy's not here now. So I guess
with
that remains to be seen.
We're talking live on the air here, and our answer is, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll post it on social media. You'll know when we'll know.
Yeah, there we go. Good Tour Championship. Congrats to Tommy. We will talk to you guys later this week.